So, I think most people have heard by now, but if you have not, today, I guess this isn't the best video to look at, actually. This is the one I ended up liking, because it was already slowed down. But essentially, from, you know, the limited knowledge I have of the situation, there was a lady in this car here. She seemed to be blocking traffic, with the intention of, like, disturbing, what ICE was trying to do. So, I forgot the phrase for that. But they're impeding on, you know, law officials trying to, you know, do their job or whatever, right? So she's kind of like blocking the road from what I've heard. ICE officials, I guess, pull up to her, whether they're allowed to do that or not. They tell her to get out of the car. Maybe I should find a different video. They tell her to get out of the car. She does not only she not only ignores their request, but she attempts to drive away. And in the process of driving away, she partially hits a ICE official, and that ICE official ends up shooting her and killing her. Okay, so let me find the actual video first, actually. Let's just type in ICE shooting, I guess. Looking for more like a zoomed out thing here. Okay, so yeah, you know, like she's like sideways, right? You know, kind of blocking the road. Whether that's her. Oh my gosh, it's really loud. I don't like this video either. Okay, here we go. This is a good one. My camera might be in the way. Let's go like this. We'll remove the chat for now.
No! No! Shame! Shame!
Oh.
Oh my fucking god! What the fuck? What the fuck? You just fucking... What the fuck did you do? You all are fucking criminals! You're fucking criminals! What the fuck?
I don't know if we have to watch, really need to watch the whole thing here.
What the actual...
But I don't know. I've heard multiple people say that this lady was interrupting these ICE raids or whatever they were doing. I mean, it kind of looks like they're about to leave. They waved this car to go past, right? I don't know if they're about to leave themselves, but maybe not. I'm not sure. We got two officers here, and we got another one on the other side of the car that you can't see.
No!
She puts it in reverse, so this, I don't know if you could hear it, but they told her to stop and get out of the car. She doesn't listen, and not only does she not listen, she attempts to go in reverse and then drive away. And as she's driving away, there's an officer in front of her car. So, you know, he got out of the way, but, you know, he was definitely off to the side, but he was still in front of the car. and then he ends up shooting her. I don't know what proper protocol is or whatever, but just because he got out of the way of the car here, I would say doesn't mean that, like, this wasn't, like, an attempt at, like, I wouldn't say they were attempting at, like, hurting the officer, but if the officer didn't move, they would have definitely gotten ran over to some point. I don't think that was their intention, but I also didn't think they were really worried about the safety too much of the officer here. So, he jumps out of the way, gets hit a little bit, still gets hit even after moving, so imagine he didn't move, he would have definitely got ran over, I would say. And then he ends up shooting her, and killing her. So, I hear a lot of people saying, like, they're against this. The only thing I will say is, like, I feel like if I was in his shoes, I wouldn't have shot them. But, I'm also in favor of, self-defense and, like, you know, if somebody enacts what am I trying to say here? If somebody uses, like, force, you know, that could end up hurting you, I think it's very reasonable to respond with, you know, force yourself. Whether I think this was necessary or not, I don't know. But I hear people, like, just completely standing up for this lady, even though I've heard multiple people saying that they were purposely blocking the road. And not only that, she didn't get out of the car when an official told her to. And then she drives away. So she's breaking several laws here. She's trying to flee the scene, and she hits an officer as she's driving away. And I think it's without a doubt that if the officer didn't move out of the way, they would have gotten ran over. Maybe not, like, fully, but they would have gotten quite injured, I would say. So, so there's a lot of people, you know, there's a lot of people on both sides here. I think a lot of people are being extremely, I think they're just, like, lying to defend this person. Like, they're saying they're, like, just a bystander. I saw Hassan Piker just call them a bystander, even though they're clearly breaking, like, many laws. This lady is talking about, let's hear what they have to say. Oh, this is the wrong one here. So this is the mayor of New York. This morning, an ICE agent murdered a woman in Minneapolis. Only the latest horror in a year full of cruelty. As ICE attacks our neighbors across America, it is an attack on us all. New York stands with immigrants today and every day that follows. I feel like this is a little ridiculous. I mean, murder... I don't know if murder is the right word there, so I can't really talk on that, but, like, I feel like it's very dishonest to, like, just talking about immigrants when ICE is not trying to deport immigrants. They're trying to deport illegal aliens, right? So I feel like there's just a lot of dishonest rhetoric around this topic that I've seen. And that's just one example of like many. We got Homeland Security. Change the title to Doom and Gloom Post Poker. What's up, Squoze? If you're not guilty, stay out of the way of the law enforcement. It really looks like a one-way street, too. She shouldn't be perpendicular to the flow of traffic. Yeah, I mean, the video isn't very explanatory of, like, what she was doing. But I've heard multiple people say that she was intentionally, like, disrupting, ICE enforcement, or whatever. There's definitely a better way to put that, but I think you get what I mean. Homeland Security said, today, ICE officers in Minneapolis were conducting targeted operations when rioters began blocking ICE officers. So this is a government agency here saying this, so... I mean, it's possible they're lying, but I think usually, when you state something, especially in like a position that they are, they probably have relatively good understanding of the situation. So I don't think they're making this up, but I mean, you never know. They're conducting targeted operations when rioters began blocking ICE officers, and one of these violent rioters weaponized her vehicle, attempting to run over our law enforcement officers in an attempt to kill them. I also think this is a little dishonest. I don't think like you can't. I don't think her intention was to kill anybody, but I also don't think she was too worried about it either. But obviously she would have killed him if he didn't move, or like maybe not killed him, but injured him pretty severely if he didn't jump out of the way. Okay, so like, I don't think she attempted to run them over, or she would have, driven into him instead of kind of like brushing, hitting the side of him, but yeah. I think there's a little bit of dishonest rhetoric on both sides, honestly. But I think the side that's supporting her has been a lot more dishonest from my point of view. But anyway, an ICE officer fearing for his life, the lives of his fellow law enforcement, and the safety of the public fired defensive shots. So, I'm not trained as an officer, but it would seem that he's partially in the right to defend himself when a lethal force is like enacted against him. I think it's somewhat reasonable to react in a similar fashion. Also, like maybe stopping her from injuring other people is maybe a reasonable point to shoot her. I mean, I feel like if I was in his situation, I would have jumped out of the way and I wouldn't have shot them. But maybe training kind of makes you think otherwise, and also maybe in the heat of the moment, you also think like this person just tried to could have just killed me. I'm not gonna let them get away with it kind of reaction thing. 1,300% and 8,000% are probably inaccurate too. Oh, I'll get to that, but I'm sure you're right. Sounds like a big number. Nice officer, fearing for his life, the lives of his fellow law enforcement, and the safety of the public, fired defensive shots. He used his training and saved his own life, and that of his fellow officers. Maybe. I don't know if their lives were in I don't know. I feel like that's a little misworded. I think he was responding somewhat, you know, it was kind of appropriate, like, but defending his fellow officers, I don't see how anybody else was in. I could see if they said, like, defending, like, the public or someone. Because if they're willing to, like, just, you know, hastily, like, drive away with somebody partially in front of your car, you know, they might be a threat to others as well. The alleged perpetrator was hit and is deceased. The ICE officers who were hurt are expected to make full recoveries. So I've heard the people who are on the woman's side are claiming like the ICE officer doesn't really appear to be hurt too much, which I'm not sure of, but I doubt he was hurt that much. But still, you never know. I mean, he still got hit by the car, for sure. Let me see here. There's another view that looks a lot more scary. I think it was this one here.
An ICE agent
look
with
how
her
fast she
vehicle and
drives
loses
away.
her life as a result of it. There is no question
This isn't the full
at
speed,
this
I'm
point
pretty sure.
whether or not this.
Pretty sure that's not the full speed. Like they're driving pretty quickly. You can see he definitely got hit and shoved to the side. And you could tell by this video here that he jumped out of the way, right? Sorry for the audio here. So he had to, his feet literally move out of the way quite a bit, and he still got hit by the car. So if he didn't jump out of the way, I would say at least his legs are getting run over. If not, his entire body's gonna get flattened. But, you know, I can't be sure of that. But anyway, let me read the rest of this here from Homeland Security. The alleged perpetrator was, this is a direct consequence of constant attacks and demonization of our officers by sanctuary politicians who fuel and encourage rampant assaults on our law enforcement, who are facing 1,300% increase in assaults against them and an 8,000% increase in death threats. And you think that's an accurate number? I have no way to know that. I think it's definitely significantly increased. So law enforcement is facing a 13x increase in assaults. Essentially, this is like 13x, 13 times what they were facing before. Just by like looking at the number, I don't doubt that. I mean, I can't be sure. I don't have a tally of these, you know, I don't have a I couldn't know this number, right? I don't know. I'm trying to like put it in a different way, but I can't get the words out here. And an 8,000% increase in death threats. So 80x. So they're saying law enforcement is getting 80 times the amount of death threats. I don't see what they're comparing it to before. 80x seems like a lot, but I mean, I don't know why you just pull a random number out of your ass as a government. Like Homeland Security is what? I mean, it's a government... Oops. I mean, it's a government organization here, so... I don't know. I would think they were, like, somewhat credible, you know, at least. To the very least. And I don't think they... I don't know, I mean, I guess, you know, people stretch the truth all the time, but I feel like people are less likely to do that with numbers. But I've also heard Trump say, like, extremely stupid numbers before. Like, I've heard him say, like drug prices have decreased by, like, 1,000%. You can't decrease anything by more than 100%. Like, I don't know what math class this guy's taking, but I've heard him say decreases in, like, over 100% on several things. So, like, maybe... I don't think I'm misunderstanding that, but I guess it's possible. But I feel pretty confident you can't decrease anything by over 100%, so... I mean, I think the... You know, if the president can spout bullshit, you know, bullshit numbers, I'm sure the Homeland Security can too. But... Anyway, this is an evolving situation, and we will give the public more information as soon as it becomes available. Okay. How would they know it either? I don't know. I mean, they probably, you know, they might have numbers of reports. I'm not sure. They would know better than I tell you that. I have no idea. Who is this? Oh, so for anybody saying, like, I heard people saying that the officer was on the side of the vehicle when they shot them. But how could that be if the bullet hole is in the front of the vehicle, as you can see here?
Came from in front of the vehicle.
Like, it's clearly in front, so I mean, you have to be at least, like, in line with, like, the, you know, the edge of the light here. Like, your body has to be, like, around here, right, to shoot this? To shoot. And I think if we look at the video, we can see when they shot. So they were already going forward for like a second at least, right? So they were already in forward motion, and he was in front of the vehicle. Now granted, the vehicle's going in the right direction, so it's more likely to glance him a little bit, like, instead of run him over. Like, if she was intentionally trying to run him over, she would be turning left, right? So, I mean, I think saying intentionally trying to murder them is dishonest, but I also don't think she was very, like, she cared too much about his safety when she did this at all. I think it's, you know, I think the bullet hole in the front of the windshield is a little bit more evidence as well. Now this lady said she was, let's listen to what she said. I've heard from her and, like, someone else that this lady was disrupting, how did they describe it here? Disrupting ICE, like, operations. So, whether they're, you know, whether both the people I heard were lying or not, I don't know, but, you know, from what I've seen, there's a lot of hatred and towards ICE, and a lot of rhetoric that are kind of promoting this kind of behavior, so I'm definitely prone to believing that she was disrupting their operations.
I woke up to some commotion. I heard some whistles going on out front, so I came downstairs to see what was going on. Wasn't even dressed. And there was a car pilot that's crashed over there now. There's a car blocking the 2 lanes of Portland traffic. And the ICE agents got out and they were saying, "Get out of here, get out of here." And she was what looked like trying to turn around. And the ICE agent was in front of her car, and he pulled out a gun and put it right in, like, his midriff was on her bumper, and he reached across the hood of the car and shot her in the face like 3-4 times. And then she must have stepped on the gas. She stepped on the gas immediately, maybe got like 100 feet or so, and ran into the telephone pole and some cars, and then was slumped over in her car. And you could see she was probably gone. And there was a medic, there was a neighbor who's a physician who was yelling, "Can I please check the pulse?" There was no first responders. There were 0 first responders. They left her in her car slumped over for about 10-15 minutes, blocking us all. And eventually EMS got here, and they wouldn't let the bus in, so it was just the EMS workers, and they checked her out for a second, maybe five minutes or so, and then carried her out, no stretcher or anything, carried her out like a sack of fucking potatoes.
Can you describe a little bit about what this woman looked like? Was there anyone else in the car with her? Did you know if she...
I thought she was talking about how she was disrupting ICE operations. Am I mistaken here?
Her demographic?
A dyed curly video of her. I woke up to some commotion. I heard some whistles going on out front, so I came downstairs to see what was going on. Wasn't even dressed. And there was a car, the Honda Pilot that's crashed over there now. There's a car blocking the 2 lanes of Portland traffic. And the ICE agents got out and they were...
Okay, so that doesn't really describe anything that we didn't see already, so... my mistake. I thought that was, I thought she said something about her disrupting operations for a while. I think this lady said something about it though, but who is Noam here? So who is Noam? Kristi Noem, United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Okay. Secretary, okay. I don't really know what her position is, but she was talking about it a little, and I'm pretty sure she was describing the woman as being very disruptive, like for a while or like all day.
Here in Minneapolis today. Any loss of life is a tragedy, and I think all of us can agree that in this situation it was preventable. I've spoken to the president today on the situation here on the ground. I also just got off the phone a little while ago with Governor Walz and spoke.
How many shots were there? I thought there was only one, but they said, yeah, they said like 4 or 5. I don't know, maybe 2. But it said it's sad that someone died, but at the same time, I don't block cops / ICE from doing their job, and I don't get shot at. Yeah, I mean, if an officer tells me to get out of my car, I'm going to get out of my car. I mean, I wouldn't be in that situation to begin with, so I wouldn't be disrupting officers' operations. My point is that someone's account of the actions that occurred is always skewed, yeah. Yeah, I think that's pretty common. What's up, Ogdog?
To him as well. I want to reiterate first with all of you the facts of what happened today. At 10:25 a.m. Central Time, Immigration and Customs Enforcement were carrying out lawful operations here in Minneapolis. Because of the adverse weather that Minneapolis has seen in recent snow, one of the vehicles became stuck and ensnared in the snow. Law enforcement were attempting to push out this vehicle, and when a mob of agitators that were harassing them all day began blocking them in, shouting at them, and impeding law enforcement operations. ICE officers and agents approached.
So she was saying there was people that were disrupting them for a while, I think.
Mob of agitators that were harassing them all day,
So it
began
wasn't just
blocking
her,
them
it was
in,
a lot of people,
shouting
I
at
guess.
them, and impeding law enforcement operations. ICE officers and agents approached the vehicle of the individual in question, who was blocking the officers in with her vehicle, and she had been stalking and impeding their work all throughout the day.
So she claims that the lady in the car was disrupting them for a long time, not just in that situation. We don't really have any way of knowing that, but I mean, I think someone in this position is at least somewhat trustworthy, so I wouldn't blindly trust what they're saying, but I would be likely to think that they're telling the truth. They could also be defending, you know, their fellow officers or whatever. I mean, you're more likely to defend your own people, right? So that could be what's happening, but I'm also likely to believe what they're saying as well. A lot of these protesters are paid to protest too. Yeah, I think that's a big problem for sure. Because it's legal to pay protesters, so this is like a legal act. It's not like this is an illegal operation. Like, you're legally allowed to like pay protesters to, you know, do something on your behalf. Maybe they need to like either get rid of that or make it more apparent to like who's paying the protesters. Like, I think if you ask a protester who's like, if you ask a protester if you're being paid to be here, I think they should legally have to tell you yes or no. And then if it's a yes, they should legally have to tell you who's paying them, I think. Or just get it, or just remove, you know, paid protests altogether. I think that's pretty reasonable. George Soros is the one paying these protesters indirectly. I mean, I don't really know how to, like, figure that out or not. But I don't think it's, like, super clear, right? Maybe it is. It's not clear to me, but I'm not too informed either.
ICE agents repeatedly ordered her to get out of the car and to stop obstructing law enforcement, but she refused to obey their commands. She then proceeded to weaponize her vehicle, and she attempted to run a law enforcement officer over. This appeared.
Again, I don't think she was attempting to run them over. I just think she would have ran them over. I think she was attempting to get away. I don't think she was attempting to kill him. But I don't know, maybe her language is fine. You think it's pretty clear? It might be, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not very informed. You know, you might know a lot more than I do. I don't really want to get into it though too much right now. Just wanted to kind of go over this. I don't think I'm gonna listen to this whole thing either, but I mostly just wanted to listen to her counts of like addressing that she was like disruptive all day or for a long time. So this isn't like, this is just the end of the incident. It wasn't like the full account of like what was happening the entire day, which was the main point why I brought up this video, I think, but we'll see.
As an attempt to kill or to cause bodily harm to agents, an act of domestic terrorism. The ICE officer, fearing for his life and the other officers around him and the safety of the public, fired defensive shots. He used his training to save his own life and that of his colleagues. He was treated at a local hospital, has been released, and is now with family. I encourage the American people at this point in time to pray for him, but also to pray for the deceased's family and her loved ones. Today alone in this country, there have been 4 different domestic terrorist attacks on federal officers by the ramming of vehicles. 3 of them happened here in Minneapolis. We've seen over 100 of these vehicle rammings happen in just recent weeks, and this must stop. ICE alone is facing a 1,300% increase in assaults against them and an 8,000% increase in death threats against.
that already,
In fact-
right? I'm not sure if, like, I don't really know what else I'm looking to hear from them. I think I listened to most of this earlier, but I don't remember anything else that they said that I wanted to cover. It was mostly just the point that they were interrupting operations for a longer period of time. That was my main point from that. I thought this lady said something, but I was wrong. So I think this was a misquote, right? She was very successful in blocking traffic. She was doing what she was set out to do. But I don't think she said that, did she? I don't remember her saying that. The woman who shot was a 37-year-old. Good lived in the Twin Cities with her partner, according to her mother, who spoke with the Minnesota Star Tribune. The mother, Donna, said her daughter is not part of anything like that at all. So, I mean, it's hard to take the word of a grieving mother, but if she was there all day interrupting operations, I don't think she's very knowledgeable of what her daughter was doing. Unless this lady just completely mischaracterized what she was doing there. But not part of anything like that at all, I think. I don't know. I'm not really sure who to believe. So, yeah, I'm not really sure what else I want to cover with that.